Get ready for the list. Having watched this last movie, you now understand how I get into my Jesus Greg world is by the use of Jesus port keys. And now you yourself, if you want to explore my Jesus Greg world, you'll be learning how to use Jesus port keys that have been carefully designed by Jesus to take me and other people into different parts of my Jesus Greg world, using different pathways, if you will. Interesting fact, you are in one of the Jesus verse portals right now. Surprise! To reiterate, as explained in the last movie, Jesus is having me make many, many port keys, entrances that will take me and you towards more Jesus, meaning into a greater portion of his presence in my Jesus Greg. As you will see, if you proceed further into this training web that Jesus is making for me, a network that I'm helping Jesus make and test and upgrade, Jesus port keys to portals that take you to more Jesus, are fundamental building blocks of Jesus world building. I can't emphasize this enough. It really doesn't get more basic than this. And thus, and not surprisingly, what's coming up next is a link to various sets of movies. Each set of movies can be thought of as a port key itself, and at the same time as a collection of port keys, because you will be viewing not only collections of Jesus movies, which are themselves port keys, but also each of the individual movies themselves, the content of the movies, introduce and describe various port keys, various entrance ways into my Jesus Greg world in the Jesus verse, port keys that might involve various entrance ways into my Jesus Greg world in the Jesus verse, port keys that might involve sanctifying certain scenes in my day or objects and or people in my life, symbols, songs, etc. So to prepare you, the next link you will click upon is titled A List of Collections of Movies and Jesus TV Programs with Links. Yes, that's a long title, I know. But that link will take you to a single Google document called, of course, A List of Collections of Movies and Jesus TV Programs with Links, which document has various links to various sets of movies, which again represent different main port keys leading to pathways, portals into my Jesus Greg world. For example, one of the main pathways or port keys that you portal into when you go to my Jesus Greg world is, for example, one of the main pathways, port keys that port you into my Jesus Greg world is Early Zion Projects, which is represented by a Jesus TV program called Early Zion Projects, which TV program presents a collection of episodes that describe and report on various Zion building projects that I am working on with Jesus, angels, and other mortals, and which episodes invite people like yourself to sign up for Zion building projects or to determine what Zion building projects Jesus already has signed you up for, maybe without your explicit knowledge. That's right, you may be building Early Zion without even knowing you're doing it. Jesus TV may open your eyes to that. Notice that the Early Zion projects, Jesus port key, would likely appeal to people who like projects. There are people who are drawn to, let's just get stuff done, let's just get things built. People who often appreciate the power that projects have to create order and formality and processes and steps and a sense of purpose and a sense of progress that projects can imbue things with. This is one of my soul's longings, to be involved in actual, factual, verifiable, explicit Zion building projects. Hence, Jesus created this Jesus portal, this Jesus TV program called Early Zion Projects, as you will see. Isn't Jesus nice? He is. He's kind and he's full of grace. Ask and ye shall receive. And then, once you dive into watching episodes of Jesus' TV program called Early Zion Projects, if Jesus has you do that, you will notice that some of the episodes of Early Zion Projects features a specific project that Jesus has me involved in. For example, some of the episodes will update people. For example, some of the episodes will update people as regards an early Zion project called Jesus Redeems 2000 Classic Rock Songs. In these episodes, Jesus will show you how Jesus is preparing a bunch of new hymns, prayer songs for Zion, and that Jesus has assigned people, including myself, to work on this project. And you will see that actual work, the laboring itself for early Zion projects becomes, for those involved in the project, it becomes a port key, a Jesus port key, a religious activity that invites Jesus' presence. You will then begin to understand why Jesus is rolling out early Zion projects, that TV program, to help his children get closer to him as they get closer to and work with one another, other mortals and angels in Zion. You will see and understand that the actual working, the laboring itself with Jesus on early Zion projects becomes, for those involved in said projects, it becomes a Jesus port key, a religious activity that invites Jesus' presence. You will then begin to understand why Jesus is rolling out early Zion projects to help his children get closer to him as they get closer to and work with one another, other mortals and angels, in Zion, in the Jesusverse, not the metaverse. Okay, now that you have been prepared, you're ready to click on the link called A List of Collections of Movies and Jesus TV Programs with Links. In essence, my port keys into Jesus Greg World that you will see here at www.getmorejesus.com. One more thing. One more thing I have to share with you. One more thing. Finally, feel free to reach out to me and schedule an appointment. Jesus has had me set aside time on Sunday mornings to offer people free technical assistance. I can help you with anything, small or large, as it relates to Jesus Greg World. Perhaps one of the links isn't working for you. I'll help with that. Perhaps you don't understand some of the concepts that Jesus has me share in the movies. I'll help. Whatever it is, I'll help. Contact me for an appointment. You can contact me by, knocking on my door, emailing me, gomuller, GOMULLER @gmail.com. You can call me. You can call my bishop at the Cedar Creek Ward in Spring City, Utah. Reach out. You'll find me. All right.